Hello and good day to all YouTube viewers. This is Corey from the Bach Scholar YouTube channel. I am the editor-in-chief of Bach Scholar Publishing. Some of you, or most of you, probably are well familiar with this by now, Sight Reading in Harmony, the book that I wrote 2 years ago from 2017. It's now 2019. It's been selling very, very well. It's really an international bestseller now. So if you haven't gotten your copy yet, do so. It's gotten really rave reviews. I get emails all the time from people telling me how they love the book. I put over a year, or probably almost a year, or around a year, into this book, with the planning of it over a year. So it took a long time to do. The purpose of this video is not to talk about sight reading in harmony, but it is just to fill you in on some upcoming publications that I'm planning to release from Bach Scholar Publishing. The first, I have a list here in front of me. I have a spreadsheet right here in front of me. I'm reading my computer. I have Hanon for Beginners. Okay, so I already wrote The Well-Tempered Hanon, a very thick book, kind of like Sight Reading in Harmony. Well, I have a Hanon for Beginners coming out pretty soon, which is a thin volume. And the great thing about that is I give a couple options for fingering. So actually I give usually 2 sets of fingerings for each exercise. It's very good for learning to adapt to different fingerings. And it only consists of 20 exercises. It's a very manageable book, very thin, probably that thin. Hanon for Beginners. Pachelbel's Canon in D, arranged by Sergei Lyapunov. Lyapunov was a great Russian pianist, composer pianist, excellent composer, excellent pianist as well. And he has a transcription or arrangement of Pachelbel's very famous Canon in D, and it's been, you can find it for free on the internet actually, but the reason why I'm making an edition of it is there's no editions with fingerings, so I supply fingerings on it. Also, I've done a few minor changes here and there where I think there need to be some minor changes. That, I believe, is the finest arrangement of Pachelbel's Canon in existence. So that's why I'm doing that. That will be a very thin volume as well. It's only like about 6 pages. Pachelbel's Canon in D, edited by me, but arranged by Lyapunov. And coming up also are 12 Classic Rags by Joseph F. Lamb. You can already get these digitally and PDFs on the Bach Scholar website, but I am preparing a hard copy edition of Joseph Lamb's 12 Classic Rags. It will be an excellently engraved, beautiful edition of his 12 most famous rags. Now, to the topic of this video. I'm really, really excited because my biggest project now that I've been working on for actually only probably a few weeks now, but I'm really going full force on it right now. It will probably be done, just give it a few months. If things come up, but it should be in a few months. I'm shooting for that. So, I can't give you any promises, but the ultimate guide to Bach's Goldberg variations for amateurs and professionals. This is just a rough draft of what the cover will look like. And see, the reason why I'm doing a book on the Goldberg variations is we don't need another book of sheet music for the Goldberg variations. Okay, so I don't have it in front of me, but let's say if you have an urtext of the Goldberg variations, we don't need another one of those. Okay, because everyone can get the music and look at the music. I'm interested in the teaching aspects of it. I'm interested in teaching the Goldberg variations to those who want to learn it, both amateurs and professionals, students and teachers. It's a very wide range of my audience. And therefore, not only will this volume include the sheet music, you know, a nice legible ur text of all of the Goldberg variations, but it will also include essays, historical research, fingerings, and historical tempi for all the variations. So I'm going to read here. The contents include complete sheet music, beautiful and legible ur text. Ur text means the original edition. There aren't like editorial markings by me except fingerings. Fingerings and historically informed metronome speeds, simplified canons, and free variations for students and teachers. So what I've done is I have taken all of the canons, all of the, I believe, 9 canons in the Goldberg variations, and I take those and I actually make a couple of easier sort of simplified versions of them. I make one with just the left hand. It's not a simplified left hand, but then I add a right hand which is simplified. Then I have another version in which the student or the teacher plays the canon with both hands, broken between the hands. So in the Goldberg variations, as you might know, when you play a canon variation, every third variation is a canonic variation. You're playing 2 voices with 1 hand. So what I've done is I've transcribed it to 2 clefs. So you're playing the canon with 2 hands. And that helps students and teachers and anybody who wants to learn them familiarize themselves with what's really going on. And very often I have to, if they're close together, I have to actually transpose the bottom one down an octave so the hands are apart. But I think it's a absolutely wonderful teaching tool, which I've done here. So I present all 9 canons in 2 different ways that will make it easier to learn and easier to digest. I'm also toying right now with the idea of having duets, like student and teacher duets, so I'm trying to work that out with the canons. Some of the free variations, several of them, probably not all of them, I have slightly simplified. For example, if we have 2 voices or 2 parts in the right hand, I usually do just 1 part, and then I include the left hand original. So it's like maybe like playing a 2-part invention, for example. So the student gets the full character of the variation, and it's not dumbed down. These are simplified, but they're not dumbed down simplifications. They're very tastefully done simplifications, which will allow students to play the Goldberg variations who otherwise could not. Because I love teaching these pieces, but I always look at them and think, oh, how are they ever going to play this one? You know, it's so hard. So what I've done is I've just simplified them a little bit and made them accessible to students and teachers. Also included are customized essays for students, teachers, and concert performers. I plan on having 3 essays, 3 specifically geared essays for different audiences. I have 1 general essay on the Goldberg variations, what they are, what they consist of, and the historical context of the Goldberg variations. And then I have an essay specifically for students and teachers and less advanced students and hobby pianists and perhaps self-taught pianists who would like to learn some of the variations, but they're not that advanced. I also have another more advanced and technical type essay for professionals and concert performers. This last essay for professionals is actually based on an article that I wrote in American Music Teacher magazine from 2005. It was published in this edition here. It's called Bach's Goldberg Variations Demystified. You can find that online. You can find that in university libraries. And it's my essay for the professionals and the teachers will sort of be based on this article. So this article provided the springboard for this project here the ultimate guide to Bach's Goldberg variations. Then also, I talk about historical and theoretical information based on 25 years of research. I have studied and played and taught the Goldberg variations for over 25 years now, so I have a lot of experience in that. Bach's tempo relationships apply to the symmetrical architecture of the variations. This was part of my graduate work in graduate school when I was working on my Doctor of Musical Arts degree. I performed the Goldberg variations in a lecture recital, and I did research on the temporal organization of the variations and how Bach planned the tempi and the tempo relationships between the variations. That essay is for the professionals. For the amateurs and for the students, they don't have to worry so much about the tempi. Tempo is not that big of an issue for the students who are less advanced. But tempo is an important issue for those who are more on a professional level. So that's why I call this the ultimate guide to Bach's Goldberg variations for amateurs and professionals. This will be the go-to guide for Bach's variations, his Goldberg variations played on piano. It will be, I'm estimating it won't be as thick as Sight Reading and Harmony. It will be probably about 2/3 the thickness. So it will probably be about that thick, and I do plan on most likely having a spiral binding like this. So it will be a heavy-duty spiral-bound book with all of those things in it. It's going to have the sheet music, essays, historical and theoretical information based on 25 years of research, fingerings, all sorts of things in there. It's going to be just a fountain of information for you. Because, what I want to do is I want to bring the Goldberg variations to students and teachers and professional concert artists. There's been a huge explosion of the interest in the Goldberg variations over the past few years or the past generation or so. And I think a book like this needs to be done. So I'm working really hard at it right now. Give me several months, and hopefully I'll have it done for you in a few months. So you can line up and get your copy when it's done. I'll keep you posted on how I'm coming with this project. But I've been, over the past week or so, I've been really spending a lot of time on it. And I'm really happy about it. Really happy about it. I think it will be as successful as Sight Reading and Harmony was. So until we meet again, bye.